Discretion is advised.
How's it going? Welcome to the next edition of the PCW podcast. I am your host, Mike Barret. My guest today is Rodrigo Silva, former Empire State champ, just been a mainstay in this company, PCW, for a few years now. Rodrigo, first of all, welcome to the podcast.
Mike Barret, thanks for having me.
All right, so Mr. Silva, since PCW's been relaunched and kind of put back into the spotlight, what are your thoughts overall on the state of PCW as it's come back?
Well, it's first of all, I would just like to say once again, just thank you for having me on your show, and I just want to say that I think PCW is in a great place now. I think that it's still growing as what was once a small company, and I think Derek Sullivan and Lou Palmero, when they decided to bring the company back, that they also decided to bring great talent back. They did many things as a good businessman, what they would do, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. And once again, I think PCW is the best place in the world, and I'm just very happy here with this company. I think it's doing a great job.
As am I, Rodrigo. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to be back working again.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, definitely. So back at Battleground in 2013, you won the Empire State Championship in the now infamous scramble match. Take me back to that moment and what it was for you in that moment to finally get your hands on the title.
Oh man. To go back to that scramble match, I mean, I came out the winner, but was it easy? Absolutely not. I mean, you had monsters in that match. I mean, Abel, Mike Shaw, I mean, just complete monsters in every direction. And to be able to go into that match as just a regular man, and then coming out of that match a champion. I mean, it's a feeling that's unimaginable. And was it easy? No. But was it worth it? 100%. Absolutely. There's no feeling better than winning a championship here at PCW. And being the Empire State champ was a dream come true for me.
Okay, so sticking back with that match at Battleground, you had an old friend with you for that match, a man by the name of Brandon Thompson.
Oh,
do you know what's going on with him? Like, have you spoken to him since? We haven't really heard much from or about him. Can you give us shed a little light on that for us?
You know what? I actually haven't really spoken to Brandon. It's been a few years since I've spoken with him. We had a great connection. I realized that at the time when he was just ready to leave Abel, and he was kind of floating around, him and I actually developed a great bond. We actually had, I know he seems like a sadistic, kind of twisted type of man on the outside, but on the inside he actually does seem like to be a great person. And through conversation we hit it off, and he eventually became my manager. And but since the breakup, I didn't really get a chance to kind of reconnect with him. And it's been a few years. I really would wonder how he was doing. Hopefully he's doing well. Hopefully maybe we can reach out to him. I have his cell number, so maybe I'll hit him up.
Maybe that could be some vital information. Maybe a new a podcast guest somewhere down the line.
I would agree.
Yeah, would love to talk to him as well. But take me back now, moving a little forward. PCW relaunched. You had a kind of rekindled
Actually, Mike, I just wanted to say, now that I think about it, I remember I have a good time with Brandon. There was a good time. One time we were, it must have been like 3:00 in the morning, and this dude calls me and he says, Rodrigo, and this dude, if there's anything about Brandon Thompson you want to know about, this dude is just obsessed with chili cheese fries. I mean, he absolutely loves them. So one night he actually gives me a call, and he says, Rodrigo, I need the fix. So I was like, all right, dang, man. So we freaking hop in the car, and of course we go to Wendy's because I think, and Brandon would definitely agree with this 100%. Wendy's has like the best chili cheese fries. Something about them.
They are tough to beat.
They are tough to beat because the fries aren't as like thick, but they're not like super super thin. They hold pretty well. And I mean, this dude, he ordered 4 orders of fries and about 2 sundaes, 2 Big Macs, and a freaking not a Frosty. Yeah. Is it Frosty? They have Frosties at Wendy's, right? That's at Wendy's.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And a Frosty.
Big Macs, you mean Baconators?
Maybe that's what it was. I'm getting my nights confused. Anyway, the dude put it all away. And, man, one thing about Brandon Thompson nobody knows about, that guy can eat. But anyway, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, no, you're getting me hungry just listening to that.
No, man, I'm about to go get some. Mike, we should get some Wendy's later.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it.
All right.
Anyway, back to kind of a train of thought here. Your match at Revival, kind of the lead up to that was, this whole story of the title being vacated. Obviously PCW was on a major hiatus for a handful of years. But talk to me about kind of that journey back to PCW once it was kind of revamped and relaunched, and then lead that into talking about your match against Matt Justice at Revival, which is just an absolute instant classic in my opinion.
Yeah, well, during the gap years of, when it was PCW Livewire to PCW Uprising, I actually contemplated between retirement and, once I hit the Empire State title, in a dream company of Paramount Championship Wrestling, for me, I almost felt like there was really nothing left for me. I took on the hobby of running, entered a few races here and there, and it wasn't until I got a phone call from Blue Palmero saying that they might do it again. And so, I kind of had to, my family back in Argentina, it was a big decision to come back here. And so, having running as a hobby, I was already in somewhat of a good physical shape as it was, so it wasn't going to take me much of a physical, to get back into shape. And so decided, for a few months I trained and decided I wanted to come back and come back to regain essentially the title I never lost. I was put in a match against Matt Justice at Revival. And yeah, it was great. The chemistry is amazing in the ring. Matt Justice is an unbelievable world class performer, and he pushed my limits. I pushed his limits, and his Justified is a one heck of a finisher, as is my Splash, and we both went the distance, and I think it'll definitely be a match for the ages. I didn't come out victorious, but when you give your all and you leave it all out there, hey, you know what? If you lose, then at least you gave it your all. That night wasn't my night. It was Matt Justice's night. I'm not finished yet. There's plenty more for me here at Paramount Championship Wrestling. This is just the beginning. But it was just it was great to work with the man, and much respect for him for sure.
And so, since that great match at Revival, we've had reports over the last few weeks of some sort of leg injury, lower muscular injury, from you and from the doctors. Do you know specifically what's going on? Have you pinned down how it happened?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what, Mike? So I was actually after Revival, the day after, I was a little beat up, but again, I still love wrestling and I love running, and I was actually doing a 10K run for a charity event, and around the 8th mile, my calf started talking to me, and I actually had to pause the race and to stretch it out. The problem is with that is when the muscle's already torn, stretching it out actually makes it worse. And it's exactly what happened in my case. And I had to stop the race, immediately, put some ice on it. And you know what? The next day I went to go see a doctor to see how serious it was. 'Cause I know injuries aren't things to really mess around with. And he said I had definitely a strained calf, and this was again right after Revival, so this was over a few weeks ago. But he said the injury. Of course, the question is how long is the injury? And when I asked him that, I was a little nervous because the pain is sharp. But he said it's an injury somewhere between 4 and 8 weeks. So been out of action for a little bit, but I've been just at home with my leg kicked up, with my bowl of popcorn, watching the uprisings, and all the other superstars there have been killing it. So,
for sure,
kind of sitting out for a little bit, but Mike, you've been killing it, and as much as
thank you, I appreciate it.
So as the other guys, and just hopefully you guys see me soon. I want to be back out there.
Just real quick, a follow up on that. Are we getting an update after 8 weeks or 4 to 8 weeks, or are you on track maybe to get back here in maybe 8 weeks or so? Because calves can be tricky to come back from.
Right, exactly. And so I actually have a scheduled appointment with my physician, and it'll actually be the same day as a mortal in a location that's right next to it. So
Okay.
I'll get the results then and there with an update, and I will be at Immortal with an update.
Okay. So I guess to kind of wrap things up here, obviously stating your case that you will be at PCW Immortal, what does the ultimate future look like for Rodrigo Silva?
The future for Rodrigo Silva is gold, Mike. It's gold.
All right. Well, nice and plain and simple. You heard it. Rodrigo Silva wants gold. Period. End of sentence.
There it is.
All right. Again, this has been Mike Barret with Rodrigo Silva on the PCW podcast. We will talk to you and see you next time.